There are millions of new books every year. What makes Esmeralda King so special? So the actual statistics behind it is that there are around 2 or 3 million new titles on Amazon every single year. So being able to make Esmeralda King stand out, there are so many different things that I have actually listed down to make it special. The first one, it is a series. So I purposely wrote Esmeralda King to make sure that it was a series, and that once the first book was released, it sort of hooked people in from day one. And then every time the next book was released, it was a continuation on from, what she's doing as a character, what is happening in her life, the twists and turns, the secrets that she doesn't want to come out. So I purposely started to write the books in such a way that they flow. We have constant readers that want to follow the journey. But the other piece for me is something that I was actually watching James Bond many, many years ago. And I know there's been so many different male James Bonds out there. But it was something that sometimes when people have watched some of those films from when they were little right the way up to, grown adults, it's been a memory, or it's been perhaps maybe sometimes like a family moment to go and watch a James Bond film, or to see the characters evolve as they've gone through different stages of their life. So I wanted to create a female version of that sort of exciting, adventurous, sometimes naughty James Bond type theme, but in a female version. And I guess the other twist to that is that because my day job is in IT, cybersecurity, again, it's a field that is constantly changing. It's exciting, it's dynamic, it's something that there's always happening. I wanted to combine the two of them together. So Esmeralda King as a series can go in so many different ways. It can be series, it could be a feature-length film, it could be, any of those things that it turns into. But equally as a film, I think when people have gone through and started to read about Esmeralda King and how she started, she's quite ditzy for a cybercrime investigator, but each case that she solves turns into a new adventure, a new case, a new psychological series where people are following that through. So I wanted to make sure it stood out. I wanted to make sure equally that there is a lot of press and a lot of news around it as well. So a lot of people tend to release books, but not really think about, well, I've released a book and it's going to sell itself. There has to be a lot of PR behind it. It has to be, a lot of social media content. There has to be so many things that goes into it for it to stand out. Sometimes books don't just drop into a shelf. Yes, celebrities have the added advantage of having, a wider audience, or, people that have already bought into them as a story and they release an autobiography. When you're releasing a fiction or a crime fiction novel, especially from a new author's perspective, it's getting it out there. It's getting it on the front page. It's getting it in the top 100 sellers list of Amazon. So many different elements to making it stand out in a world which is already busy. But I think you need to take into consideration, if you are starting to write your own book perhaps, or you're very, very new to the scene, start to really plan out the wider picture, not just, hey, I've written a book, it's going to sell itself. So yeah, a few little tips there, but I think that's something to really take into consideration when you're kind of, entering the market as such.